COVID-19 is beginning to disrupt lives around the world.
China has reported a total of 77,000.
More countries in Europe have confirmed cases. Most of
Hawaii has its first presumptive positive case of COVID-19, the coronavirus.
We saw the virus spreading, we saw it coming, and we knew that it would eventually get here.
Of the 6 major Hawaiian islands, Molokai has the highest per capita population of native Hawaiian residents. This small remote community is famous for its fierce opposition to overdevelopment. The island has retained a family-based lifestyle grounded in culture and tradition. But with only 3 primary grocery stores and 1 hospital, a COVID-19 outbreak would be disastrous for the island's 7,000 residents.
We're basically all family on the island, and losing even one person to the virus would be too much. We really needed to be proactive. The risk was people bringing the virus here.
Everybody gather over there. Our goal is to protect ourselves by not allowing the virus to come into our island. Whenever there's a threat to Molokai, we always come together. And today, it's a threat not only to the island of Molokai, but to the people of Molokai.
The health department reports 10 new cases of COVID-19 in Hawaii.
Governor David Ige announcing a mandatory 2-week quarantine for all travelers. It comes as Hawaii residents are ordered to stay at home.
With the total shutdown of Hawaii's economy, many families on Molokai were immediately impacted.
It took a long time before anyone was able to get unemployment, before they got their stimulus check. And there was a great need for food because a lot of people live paycheck to paycheck.
The state announced its second COVID-19 death today and the first case of the virus on Molokai.
The first case that Molokai experienced ended up being someone that worked at one of our main grocery stores. You know, being responsible, that particular grocery store immediately closed. The other stores also closed out of safety and protection of the community. When 2 of the 3 stores reopened, they had established very strict protocols.
They come out, take your order, you have a piece of paper, give it to them, give payment, they bring it back out, and you go home.
We had phone orders that we'd take 25 items, and then the people who stood outside could get 12 items, and we would shop for them. It was really difficult, but the people of Molokai really understood that this is what we gotta do to be safe.
It was a really rough time in that first 2 to 3 weeks.
Accessing groceries became more difficult when statewide food shortages led to a reduction in weekly barge shipments to Molokai. The situation exposed the island's dangerous reliance on imported food. Fortunately, for decades, Molokai residents have protected their abundant natural resources.
Our lifestyle on Molokai is very much grounded and rooted in the culture, in farming and fishing. We eat from the land, eat from the ocean.
It's made us here on Molokai realize that we can actually bypass the store and still survive. And there's been a lot of sharing. People who know how to get fish from the ocean, people who know how to get deer from the land, sharing with others who are planting.
When you live here, it's not about doing your own thing. There's very strong community service type kuleana. Kuleana being responsibility. We've always been that way. We've always take care of one another.
Nonprofits also stepped up. Sustainable Molokai, with its weekly mobile market, was able to help offset the impacts of the store closures by connecting customers with locally sourced food.
People were desperate for how can we get food. So we currently had our mobile market in operation. It already had an online sales platform. So we were able to pivot pretty quickly to switch to a drive-through model. We saw our numbers double. We do have a somewhat limited supply of produce, but people were accessing, like our grass-fed beef and our shrimp and anything that we had frozen that was available.
Being on the front lines put Sustainable Molokai in a position to help coordinate a wider effort to help meet community needs.
The first thing we had to do was really try to bring people together. So I put out the call, put out a Zoom, just said anybody interested in talking about how we can support our community and those in need right now.
55 families that go to Kilohana.
We had over 20 agencies, organizations, individuals jump on the call.
Signage so can set up a traffic flow when needed.
We have amazing, passionate, caring individuals and organizations that quickly stepped up to identify where the needs were and to figure out together how to address those needs within a really short time.
Partnering island agencies formed a collaborative network. Their top priority became assisting the local food bank that was seeing a major increase in demand, but also a serious decrease in food supply.
Ho'oku'i Aloha Molokai is the name of this group. And it basically means to unify in love for our island, Molokai.
Mask and glove is required. We are blessed here on Molokai because this is what it's all about, helping one another.
Food bank usually brings in canned foods as well as chilled foods. What Sustainable Molokai and this effort of Ho'oku'i Aloha Molokai was able to do was add to the food to the point where we could give 800 plus households cucumbers, kalo, papayas. They also brought in beef from Molokai, shrimp. We got fish that our local fishermen would provide.
Distributing locally sourced food not only helped feed the island, it also provided income for local food producers like farmers, ranchers, and fishermen.
I run a charter business here, but as of mid-March and the pandemic hit, I was literally out of business. And so I was looking for other venues to help my community. And because I know how to fish, I decided to go out and get fish and provide for the Molokai Food Bank.
The funding to buy the food came through rapid response emergency grant programs.
Writing grants and asking for money a lot of times it's a really long process. But during COVID-19, funders are reaching out saying, do you have any ideas to help serve your community? And if you do, we'll get you funds. Super appreciate them really trusting in us and stepping up to the plate to help serve our community.
Good to go. Oh, good. Yes,
sir. Thank you.
Thanks to comprehensive testing and community-wide effort in keeping COVID-19 from spreading, Molokai only saw 2 cases in the spring. By early May, grocery stores fully reopened, but ongoing economic hardship means food bank distributions remain critical. Meanwhile, the long-term work to create more resilient local food systems continues.
Hello, good morning. What do you want to drink? I can take it.
So today we are doing our ulu tree giveaway, and with that we're able to get trees out to our community.
You're welcome. So this is a Hawaiian variety, so it's going to grow really big.
Awesome. I'm so happy that they created this for us to have something to grow, and not just any plant, like food and native food and things that we understand and we know how to use.
Our vision is to help people grow more of their own food. So we've been offering a series of farmer trainings that teaches people the basic gardening and farming skills.
Yeah, lettuce, cabbages.
Anybody notice anything about this particular plant?
We actually teach ag skills to help people become job ready for agriculture jobs, as well as teach sustainability and gardening.
So today we just got our chicks in. This is part of our chicken egg production workshops. Each participant is getting 25 chickens.
It's kind of ironic, actually. COVID was a blessing in disguise because as much as it's a hardship and it's a challenge, through all of this, we see our earth healing, we see our ocean healing, we see our mountains healing, we see our people coming together, we see our families healing, and our communities being even more tight-knit. But ironically, I see this as a vision of going back to Aina Momona. Yeah, we were always known as Molokai Aina Momona, meaning Molokai of the fat lands or the abundant lands or the sweet lands. And the reason for that is because Molokai was known to just have an abundance of food.
So I think really the key to our ability to respond to COVID-19 has been just our community's willingness to come together, to learn from each other. And I really think that's going to be the key to going forward. We want to get to the point where whatever the next crisis is, not only are we okay, but we're thriving.